We're Bat Minute 89. Hello, and welcome once again to Bat Minute 89, the show that breaks the eggs of bat obscurity and creates a delicious knowledge omelette from the Malay. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
Oh, I'm the other host now, McGowan. I'm very impressed with that. That was a good intro.
And I just come up with these. If I wrote them, they'd be 10 times more terrible, I'll be honest. But anyway, yes, we are joined as well by a very special guest today. The one, the only, George Hendricks of Mogwai Minute.
Hi, guys. How you doing? I'm ready to get into this omelette.
I like that. An omelette. Oh, yes.
Bad omelet? I was trying to think of Batman ham. He would have a bad omelet, I guess. But would he use bat eggs? The bats don't have eggs. They're mammals, aren't they? So
Yes.
No. Keeping with the old tradition, it would just be a bat omelet.
I could even imagine Clooney going that far as to have a bat omelette.
like
Or an
every
omelette
day.
in the shape of the Batman logo, at the very least.
Exactly. It's more like a frittata, but just molded into the shape. He's got like a special thing he made in shop class when he was making batarangs.
I would have loved to have seen that though, of like that scene in Batman Returns where Alfred serves him the soup, like the vichyssoise down in the Batcave, and Bruce is like, what, it's cold, and then Alfred's like, it's vichyssoise, sir, it's supposed to be cold. Like, would have loved it if Bruce was like, look around where you are, Alfred. What's it called? It's the bat vichyssoise, sir. It's supposed to be bat cold. That's damn right.
He should know the game by now.
Exactly.
But anyway.
Although I don't know if you'd do like bat omelet or bat omelet or just like smush them together.
But omelette?
See, it'd be dangerously getting into this becoming like the Smurfs then, though, when just everything's just gonna be just like.
Yeah, no. I think that Batman is basically the DC's version of the Smurfs.
Well, to be honest, I only just realized recently that Spider-Man has a hyphen in it. I thought it was one word, like Spider-Man. Like
Spider-Man?
Like Dan Spider-Man.
No, that would make him Jewish,
Yes.
right? He's the Spider-Man.
But yes, anyway. Welcome to minute 79 of Batman. The minute starts with Joker discussing real estate, and it ends with Bruce's presence being discovered. Ooh. Exciting stuff. After the last 3 minutes of not so exciting stuff.
It's like a friggin' blessing from beyond when this guy shows up into this movie sometimes. Like, here we go, the Joker's shown up, but we're okay.
Well, as you say, the Joker's shown up, as we've seen, at Vicky's apartment. We're back there now. Is it just me, or does his makeup look extra vibrant and startling? I mean, it might just be the lighting, because we're not used to seeing him in the...
Well, he maybe just touched it up, because, Yeah, he just walked in there. He's got to meet the girl. He's like, putting on new lipstick and stuff, and maybe poofing his hair in the mirror in the hallway.
Well, actually, that's a good point, though, because I know his face looks like this now, shall we say. But does he then touch it up? Does he apply makeup, even it out, get a nice smooth skin going?
Do you think that he gets blotchy? Like maybe he gets like upset or nervous, and like he gets little patches and stuff, like red spots that color, or maybe more white spots, like paler spots.
Yeah. Well, I actually had some. I was going to leave it up until the end of this minute, because it was one of the last things to see in the shot. But talking about like his hair is very patchy. If you actually look at the back, you'll see, and I have a whole thing with that. But we'll get to that in due time. But I think that would be quite realistic if he actually did have. It was almost like what Michael Jackson had. It was the vitiligo.
Yeah.
Like it almost was a bit patchy and stuff, and he just completely evened it out then by adding white makeup and stuff.
Yeah,
that would have been a nice. That actually would be like once they get rid of this Jared Leto version of the Joker, that would be like an interesting route to.
Yeah, that's
go
why
with
he
him
was
next
so
time.
crazy, because he had vitiligo.
That's all it is. Yes.
And obviously, it just makes you even whiter no matter what your skin tone is. So Michael Jackson went from like dark skin to light skin, and Jared Leto would go from white to translucent.
That'd be a translucent Joker. Oh, now I want to see that.
That would be an interesting concept of like of a Joker, but like not pure white skin, but like sort of like this weird patchy mottled thing going on, because It was more like a skin disorder than a weird like makeup or some chemical accident or something like that.
Yeah, I'd like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, if DC are taking notes.
I know
there you go
DC.
again.
I want my cut.
And as we know, DC religiously listen to the show. So, if
I bet they
if
do.
it turns up, we're going to be sending lawyers around.
Joe Dante is obsessed with the Mogwai Minute. I mean, he just won't shut up. He emails us all the time.
Yeah, trying to get on the show. Like, leave us alone, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, it's going to ruin our vibe. We don't want so big names on there. We just get don't stop trying to harsh our vibe, man.
Same here with Michael Keaton. Can't keep him off my Twitter. He's just every 5 minutes.
Yeah, blowing you up, liking, resharing, retweeting.
Have you guys seen the show? It's great.
Anyway, I will say as well, beyond the makeup, I think this might be. I think I said it earlier with a different outfit, but I'm gonna readjust. I think this might be my favorite Joker ensemble.
You say that about every Joker ensemble.
Each one better than the last.
That's the thing. It just keeps getting more fashionable every damn episode. So, but no, because this is like he had the same outfit in an earlier minute when I think it was when he had the boxing glove into the TV, but he had a bow tie. But this edition of just the tie, it's like, no, I like this better. I think this is
this is slightly more formal.
It's just I don't know. Just I like the pattern on the tie. I think it's a good look. But really, particularly with the brightness of the Vicky's apartment, it all pops as well. Like the whiteness of his skin, against the purple and green.
So speaking of her apartment, that is a really big apartment for a reporter.
It's huge
in a large metropolitan area. Unless housing prices in Gotham are just plummeting because there's so much crime. But that is a really big apartment.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, though. I think it's because of the crime. I mean, she is an award-winning photographer as well. Yeah. But you wouldn't pay anything.
Photojournalism doesn't pay dick, guys. It doesn't pay at all. It's very fulfilling. But unless you have 15 books out, that's how you make your money in photojournalism. It's not from the things you publish, because publishing stuff in articles and magazines and newspapers does not pay well at all.
I completely forgot that you are a photographer by trade, aren't you, George? Or is it...
Yes, I am. But I'm not a photojournalist because I want to eat.
You want to eat bat omelets, clearly.
Bat omelets.
But that kind of works. I didn't realize this before now, but it's because we had an actress on earlier who was able to talk about the makeup process and things like that to verify, got a bit of realistic detail, and now we got a photographer on. You could be like, I don't wear my hair that way. That's not accurate for a photographer.
Oh, don't get me started on how badly photography is portrayed in television and movies. It's laughable. It's like, I'm going to click this camera in a room and it's going to have this amazingly exposed photo. I'm like, you got fluorescent lights and it's dark. You're not going to get that photo. Please stop making that thing. People think that's what it is.
I suppose though, you could, one of the worst bits of that would be earlier in this movie of Vicky taking photos of Batman during the fight, where she's just kind of hoisted over this the side of a bridge, kind of idly photographing everything.
She'd have some super fast film, and it's going to be super grainy, and she's going to be lucky to capture any motion if it's that dark.
But, well, there you go. Batman, 1989, not realistic. There you go.
We're gonna have to just wrap this up yet again. Every episode, we have an excuse to just end the show. God damn it!
I mean, we haven't even got anywhere near Bruce Wayne's plan in this series of minutes.
Oh, we will get there. I mean, first,
I would look at the thing as so when he says, "Nice place you got here, lots of space," and he does that weird sort of look down.
Oh, yeah.
What is he implying?
That is what I've written down. I've literally in my notes written, what is he implying? Because he looks her up and down in a kind of sexual way. So I was thinking
it's lots of space. And for one thing, she's not very big, even though she lied about her weight in the earlier scene. But two, that's very unsettling when you look at it that way. It's lots of space. I'm what are you talking about there, Jay?
The only thing I thought,
Mr. J.
which is it's disturbing. I don't even want to say it really. Space in her
No,
room.
I know exactly what you mean.
Does he want a baby?
That's where I was going with it too. I was like, is that what he's implying? And if that's the case, is that a good thing? He's weird. He's crazy. Maybe he is into that. But wow.
Yeah. Oh, geez. It's horrible. It's perfect for the character though, because He just flips.
And you got to think that wasn't in the script. That is pure Jack Nicholson. That's absolutely a Jack Nicholson choice.
Well, the only rationale I can give it is potentially because, as we'll talk about upcoming seconds, his previous paramour that he had, Alicia, he turned her into a living work of art where, he obviously messed up her face and stuff like that. And, it was quite likely, because he did try to spray Vicky with the acid boutonniere earlier. So there's a good chance he's planned to do something to her as well. So he could be like looking at her like a canvas, and it's kind of like
a Lecter-esque, like a Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, because even that look on his face is very Hannibal Lecter-esque. Is a real like the arched eyebrows, and there's a real perviness to it. And he could be like looking at her, like his canvas, like, oh, lots of space, like there's lots I can do with this, like maybe that's what he's getting at, but. That could maybe just rationalizing, though, just to be like, oh, no, everything in this makes perfect sense,
That's just because you don't want him to be a pervert, which is what he is.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like there's this strong, like, just this Jack Nicholson's 1989 Joker version, iteration, whatever, between the makeup and the character choices. He does have this sort of, like, weird, creeping, like just perverse nature to him. Whereas, like later Jokers, like Heath Ledger's, like he was like much more like on the dissociative, like sociopathic, like absolutely abnormal mentality type thing. This guy is more like this weird creeping ooze. He's like very composed and he's very this, but with his mouth scars the way they are and has this like almost like labial face thing going on, and just like his mentalities, and he is like a walking sex crime.
He does do a weird thing with his tongue and everything when he does that. He has like
exactly. That's another thing. His there's like tongues and lips and mouths and teeth and everything. He's very like orally fixated.
And he seems to think she should kind of be into him as well for unknown reasons.
Well,
yeah.
Well, even like that that gets into what he says to her next as he hauls her across the room. And you have to wonder, like, how much is this? Is there a genuine psychosis where he's delusional and he thinks that this woman might be into him and that they had some kind of rapport, or is this all part of his kind of joking nature? But he's all like, oh, I was a man doing well with a beautiful woman. Well, he knows fine rightly in that situation he just was basically trying to assault her, and like she was terrified of him the whole time. They had no kind of rapport. Or is he convinced? Is he in his head was like, that went great? Or is he genuinely this is him sort of joking about and just been like, well,
he's got that Jim Carrey Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance thing.
I thought it was pretty much the latter there, Niall. Like, I thought it reminded me of the way gangsters are sometimes nice to people, but they're not being nice to people. In movies, they'll be very friendly towards them, but there's like a sort of sinister haze hanging over the whole encounter. It was that kind of thing. I think he's being quirky, isn't he? He's like, well, I know that I'm a weird freak, but I don't care. I'm just going to play it straight.
He's kind of fake it until you make it kind of thing. It's like, if I act like we're having this great time and we're the beginning of this burgeoning relationship, eventually it'll just come to pass, and that's the way things will be.
Words to live by. That's what we should all be doing.
That's how I do. That's how I live my day.
That's how we ended up with a podcast, pretty much.
But as he's doing that, though, we do get a shot of Bruce springing into action over by Vicky's makeup desk.
Oh yeah,
so
Bruce. What's it? MacGyver. I was going to say.
Yeah, but first we get a shot of some very creepy decoration choices.
Oh man! Oh, these.
What is up with her aesthetic? She lives in an apartment which is modeled after like Bailey's Irish cream Egyptian palace.
It is
and then
weird.
Yeah, and then he cuts the room and she's got like this weird Art Deco like brickwork, but then she's got the nude female robot statue with a feather boa on, and then like creepy dolls both in the background in the mirror and in the foreground in the mirror.
But that one in the foreground, that is like the creepiest doll I've ever seen.
Yeah, that looks like the doll that you give to a disturbed child to have it express its feelings.
It looks like it would have been a thing. It's like that could have been like her great grandmother's thing. Like it's a doll that survived some horrible. It's been through some rough stuff. This thing. But it's
you can definitely see Tim Burton creeping in this one.
100%. And I love the way, though, Vicky... Because at first I thought, why the hell has she not only got one, but two? But if you look as well, she's actually using it for a practical purpose. She's putting a necklace on it. Like, so she's storing her jewelry on this thing. Because I don't think that's part of the doll. I think she's...
The big robot doll, yeah, that's like it's like a Hawaiian lei.
Oh no,
the
little doll. Hang on.
With the pearls on.
Yeah, it's got like her pearls on. I think she's
that's
put
even
them
worse. It's like I'm going to use not the fact that it's just decorative, but it's like practical. I mean, she interacts with that thing every day.
It's creepier somehow.
The things you can't tell as well is because it has like the head of a baby. Yeah, it's got like really, it's like a man's body. It's like the legs on it are really long. It's like, what is this thing?
It's got like dress shoes on.
Which one are you
The
talking
small
about?
one, like the creepy one at the forefront.
Oh, when it. Another thing is like, so that doll is wearing like a pearl necklace. Is that some sort of weird allusion to like? Is that like some set designers like, yeah, Batman, his mom died when the pearls were being stolen, so let's put a pearl necklace on the
There you
baby.
go, could be. Maybe there was like a little bit of like, it's permeated throughout the whole movie.
Oh, yeah, it's like an in.
I would have loved it if Bruce was looking for something to help, and he grabs the pearls and just breaks down and starts weeping.
he just like goes into a weird fugue state because he remembers.
That'd be the perfect time to do the flashback. There you go.
Well, again, because that little creepy baby doll, or is it a baby doll or whatever? Like, it really reminded me. Like, I was extra freaked out like during the week because I don't know if you guys been keeping up with as a thing on Twitter, where is this artist Adam Ellis who's documenting his haunting throughout in his apartment. And it's really kind of like, it's one of these things like it's almost definitely all faked. Because a lot of people are like, well, this is clearly where
Controversial.
That's the one thing. A lot of people are like, well, this is clearly where you photoshopped it right here. All this kind of stuff. But apparently, he keeps getting visited in the night he had like nightmares about a small child with a huge deformed head called Dear David. And the most recent thing that I saw like this week was that he's like, oh, nothing happened for a bit except a couple of weird things. And then one night he was looking out the window and he saw him across the way and he tried to take a photo of that, and people, it was really, really dark, and then some people like exposed the light on it or overexposed it, and then you could actually make out the figure. But then he claimed, this week that he was in bed and he woke up and it was sitting across from him. And he grabbed his phone and took a bunch of pictures. Then, he delivered these pictures and they're all dark and blurry. You can't make anything out. And then he said,
"What a surprise!"
But he said, "Well, he thought he woke up, and then it turned out that he actually woke from the dream. But when he checked his phone, there was actually something in the pictures." And somebody, a bunch of people online now, they've actually brightened up the images, and you can see, it does look like it's a small boy that actually looks like this doll. With a big weird head, coming out of the but it's probably climbing out of the chair, and then one of them is right beside the bed, and it's just like, this is all potentially faked.
Okay, I have a theory. What if this doll isn't there in the movie? It's only there when it shows up on camera.
Oh, they didn't even put it there.
So no one in this movie sees this doll except everyone who's watching the movie.
Man.
Oh, genius.
I think that guy will be watching the movie as well. I'll be like, that's it! That's the freaking ghost!
That's it! That's Big Head David! Or whatever.
You cannot escape.
But then the other doll is creepy as well. The one that actually has hair that's in like the...
With the pink dress and the dark, like, weird page boy cut in the back.
But
why does she have these? It's blowing my mind. No.
And also, she has a really messy makeup jewelry table. I mean, it's just scattered with stuff.
I like that, though, because that looks used to me. That looks lived in. It doesn't look...
It looks neglected.
It looks neglected, yeah. Like half the stuff in my house is perfectly... My computer desk right now, it looks like that.
There's like strata of things that have been accruing and accreting and piling up, and you can go back down the last 6 months and like, oh, that's what I was doing then because this is papers.
Exactly.
I'm afraid of Vicky though. These guys just landed on her. Like, she didn't know company was coming. I'm sure if she had known that Bruce Wayne was going to pop by, she would have spruced up the room a little bit. Although, to be fair to her,
she'd have baked a cake.
Yeah, potentially.
She would have Bruced it up.
But what Bruce is doing, we'll, of course, see in upcoming minutes exactly what he was doing with this tray here.
Again, I think it's a MacGyver sort of plan. We'll see.
So at that point, do you feel like as we let the plan unveil? But at this point, what do you think he's thinking with this tray? Is he going to use it as a bludgeoning weapon? Is he going to hit somebody with it?
I think he's got it all sussed out from. I'm a belief of like, oh, he's Batman.
But he picks it up and he looks at it like he's like about to do something with it, and then he pauses and then he looks at it some more, and then he like gets a little reflective. Like,
yeah, my thought was like he's going to use it either as like a mirror so he can look around the corner somehow. He's going to fashion like a little complex device, or I don't know, blind Joker with shining light because the apartment's so damn bright. Just beam it right into his eyes.
But there are also two other guys in there, so that would be very effective.
Could also, like, I would say, like maybe like he had his the plan that ends up coming to fruition, but he might have been initially like, I'm just going to barge out there now, but then he kind of stops and goes like, wait a minute, maybe I can do something here, maybe I can
But he definitely has intent when he's pulling the stuff off the tray quietly. He doesn't want anybody to know he's there. He wants to be able to surprise him. So it feels like he might be looking for more of an offensive use of it, and then pauses before he enacts that plan. Mm-hmm. That's the Batman coming through.
Yeah. And then of course we got the beginning of the Joker first tells Vicky like, oh, you without even so much as an apology, she went away with that sideshow phony. Which is it's rich, calling someone a sideshow phony when you look like a clown. Like, it's like, well, that's what the sideshow as the circus, I guess. Yeah, but who are you calling?
He's projecting. He's obviously projecting.
100%. Hit the nail on the head.
Of course.
Well, I like, actually, before you move on, I like. This is going to sound really boring now. The way we get another shot of this apartment, like in full, because it pans over, like you see,
like with the big white arch in the back. Yeah,
this place is insane. Like, as you're saying, how can anyone pay for this? It's crazy.
But I mean, how many other so far we see one bedroom and then this really open 20-foot ceiling vaulted Art Deco space. Like, is it just this one giant one-bedroom apartment in this apartment building?
I think what you guys are forgetting is like you're looking at it through a mid-recession 2017 view. This is back in the 80s when everything was great. Nothing was wrong with the world. Absolutely everything was fantastic all the time, and everyone had giant houses. That was just the way it was.
Oh, yes.
And they're all creamy beige.
I'll tell you what, it's revolting. I think I've said it before. It looks like somewhere a grandma would live, though. The color scheme, Jesus.
It's all floral, and it's gross. It's like living inside of a Bailey's bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it could be. Here's another angle though. Maybe those creepy dolls aren't Vicky's.
Oh,
maybe
Vicky's squatting.
Maybe the apartment is haunted.
Oh,
and it's just like no one wants to live there, so they'll rent it out for a song. And they're like, oh, it was an old lady.
It's like, oh, but we have to leave the furniture because every time we try to move it, the people moving it get possessed and jump out the window. So we just have to leave the furniture because we can't touch it, or you will die.
It's like creepy stuff and just happens there all the time. So there's like, oh, well, go, just take it. Oh yeah, no, it's just a deal. There's nothing's wrong here. By the way, don't touch that really creepy doll by the mirror.
That'd be a fun, interesting, reality series, like haunted real estate and people trying to move haunted real estate.
That's almost definitely a thing somewhere already, I imagine. On the internet, everything exists.
I've seen that though. Like
it's called Ghost House Hunters.
But have you seen that business it's in? It just seems to exist in reality. Of like if there's a place where something tragic's happened, where someone's like been killed, then that room or whatever has a stigma about it, and a lot of people won't rent it, or what? Like you'll get a murder
house.
Yeah, or you'll get
one time I was staying in a small town in South Carolina over a weekend, and I specifically for some reason decided it'd be fun, and I sought out haunted hotels.
Oh yes.
And so I've specifically rented a room in a hotel that was supposed to be haunted, and I didn't see nothing. There was no twins in the hallway. There's no bathtubs full of blood. There's no voices in the middle of the night. I was very disappointed.
But the fact though, like that would somewhat drive down even just like the property value, and that's not even saying that the place is haunted. That's just like, well, something bad happened here. No one wants to live in it. And it's like, why? Who cares? That's a thing that happened. Clean the carpets and move on. Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, that wouldn't bother me in the slightest. Screw it. In fact, getting a new house, I should have looked at haunted properties. There's apparently quite a lot in
I
Liverpool.
know. If I ever try to buy a house, I'm definitely going to look at like places where murders have occurred. I'm like, sweet.
Anyway, Joker says to her here, he goes, Vic, I've recently had a tragedy in my life. Right? I do not like him calling her Vic. This is a new thing that seems to be...
Yeah, that's a weird... My mother's name is Vicky, and I couldn't imagine someone calling her Vic.
Vic. No, that's wrong. It sounds like something a character would be called in a British soap. Because our soaps are different to American
It's all
soaps.
Vic. You Vic.
Yeah, ours are about...
Yeah, it sounds like something you'd see on Doctor Who.
Well, our soaps are about like poor, ugly people, just trash.
It's getting
garbage.
John's
people.
getting really judgmental here.
No, but that's the approach it gives. It's like they've got nothing and they just get up to all sorts of craziness. It's like depressing.
Meanwhile, our soaps are all about rich people who live lives you could never
Exactly.
imagine.
It's the complete opposite. Like ours, they're all people who work at like they do laundry. They work at the pub.
Yeah.
That's it. That's their life. And it's all about the things that revolve around that. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh yeah, it sounds like a character you'd get in that. They've all got horrible, like names like Pat.
Like just
Deb.
alienating all the Pats listening to the show here. Anyway.
Do we have many female
Deb,
Pats
Frank,
listening?
like all single, like one syllable words.
Yes.
John?
But no,
Was he?
John. Yes, exactly. Nobody's called John. What are you talking about? It's an uncommon name.
John's posh. If you're posh, if you're John in British soap.
Yeah, you probably would be, to be honest. They're just Barry as well.
Clive.
Oh, Clive. That's quite an upper crust name. I think I don't think you get too many commoners called Clive. I think that's you have to be a bit more from a more respectable neck of the woods to get a name like that.
I love the way I'm saying this, but I live like trash. So I'm not dissing anyone. I'm one of you. You should see my place. Jesus Christ. But it doesn't suit.
Remember the computer desk with all the strata? It's got strata.
Yeah. There's creepy dolls. There's perfume. There's everything on this desk. I'm telling you. But this doesn't suit Vicky, does it? Vic. No, that's not her. That doesn't capture her vibe, her spirit.
So what does he call Alicia when he's around? Leash?
Oh, that is something he would do. That's a creepy name that he would use.
Yeah, but I guess he's got her on a leash as well, technically. So it's kind of like,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to be fair, though, slightly better than Sugar Bumps, which was Grissom's name for her. So, although I think anything is better than Sugar Bumps.
Sugar Bumps.
That's possibly my
Sugar Bumps.
favorite name. I've tried using it with my partner there, but she's not keen.
You gotta say it. No, you gotta say it like Jack Palance. You gotta be like Sugar Bumps.
It's like, is it praise? I don't really know. It's not an insult. I mean, it's a strange thing to call someone.
Well, it's basically you say, well, what's the bumps on a lady? Saying that they're sweet. Yeah, it's just really pervy. Is all it is, really. But
Well, Joker, he pulls out a cracked mask and he reveals that Alicia has thrown herself out a goddamn window. That is horrific.
Well,
yeah.
it is, but obviously we know she didn't land face first.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually, because that thing, I mean, I would say
have been-
porcelain or something like that. It's
It's got to be some sort of like ceramic.
Well, that begs the question, though. She didn't land face first. Do we believe that she actually threw herself out the window, or did he throw her out the window?
Oh no! I firmly can imagine her just being like Jack, and then just having a moment of clarity and just being like, nope, just jumps out of the
screw
window.
this.
Yeah.
Like I'm down, just over the edge of the balcony or just something, and just straight down.
No, I agree completely. I think she jumped out. But I could see the Joker getting annoyed with her and just sort of kicking her out the way. A bit like in Game of Thrones when he kicks that woman down the pit.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I can just imagine, though, this is just part of him just sort of playing around with Vicky to kind of go in this direction of like, I'll try to tell a little sob story, and then I'll twist it back, and it's like this is just how the Joker gets his kicks. But I mean, it could be that would add some sort of, that would make it the tragedy if he threw her out the window, that would also be a tragedy. But that would be I don't know, even sadder though, the fact that she's realized that like there's no way away from this guy except to just kill myself, which is
And that's another thing. I don't think he would give her the outlet of killing her.
He wasn't finished, was he?
He wouldn't let her go.
yeah. Yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense. Because we were theorizing as well that, like, because the last time we saw her, she seemed so out of it. He was probably doping her up the entire time to kind of keep her complacent. And there could have been a moment where, she had a moment, like a sobriety hit her, and she's like, oh, Christ, I need to get out of this. And
he's too predatory to be like, no, I'm done with you. I'm going to dispose of you. He would keep her until nothing was left. And so I think she realized that. And so she took her own life.
Yeah.
God, that's dark, though. Jeez. In fact, that made me think, earlier on you said he did like a little mouth thing, a bit like Hannibal. This whole thing with Alicia is like a Hannibal kind of plot.
It is, yes.
Yeah, it's so weird. He's so campy and silly and like over the top, but there's such a dark, sinister, like vaguely serial killer-esque undertone to how he comports himself.
Yeah.
It's like in Hannibal, it's in the Hannibal novel and the TV show. Mason Verger, his relationship with his sister is that he's just constantly abusing her, and she has no way out of the relationship, and he just sees her as a toy. And then he's played in the show initially by Michael Pitt, and then Joe Anderson took over in season 3. He seems to be very much taking his mannerisms from the Heath Ledger Joker as well. So there's a nice little through line in there.
Everything's connected.
Yeah,
sort of.
If you haven't seen it, you got to Google the Tom Waits interview. That apparently, have you seen that? That apparently, like Heath Ledger took all of his mannerisms for the Joker, and it's uncanny how similar.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I don't think. I think I've heard it.
Look it up. Tom Waits. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's like, oh my God, that's exactly what he did, and it's brilliant because you pull this crazy like mentality from a completely non-crazy source. And it makes it even more unsettling because it's drawn from something that wasn't supposed to be that way.
Yeah. I think people even like sized up the dates on that because I think it was a late 80s interview, and it was in Australia. And it's like, well, Heath Ledger would have been in Australia. He probably would have been like 11 years old then. So there was a thing like, not that he just stumbled across. He could have seen that when he was a kid, and that stayed with him until, of course, we'll never get any verification of that because tragically he never really got to talk about this process of creating the character all that much. So,
but I mean, it's nice to speculate on. I like the idea that was for, because I love Tom Waits too. So like having them, it's like chocolate and peanut butter. It's
hell yeah, what a combo.
Anywho, but I do enjoy Jack's performance here though because I love this twist and turn he does of like Alicia threw herself out the window, and he genuinely looks quite mournful as he places the mask very delicately down. And then
that's another reason I think she killed herself, because he does look sad in a way. He wanted to tinker with her more, finish his art, as he refers to her.
It almost makes it seem a bit more, maybe this is why he's here now. It's kind of like, well, Alicia's dead, I got no one else to play with.
I need a new one.
Yeah, let's go and get that other one I was sizing up already. Like, let's go right now.
Like goldfish. I'll go get a new one.
It was like, well,
that fits with Jack's character.
The thing is, I don't think he actually feels feelings. I think maybe rage and maybe jealousy, but I don't think he feels anything sort of empathy. So I feel like he's manufacturing, like, this is what a sad person would say.
Yeah.
This is what a sad person's face would look like. Because he's a mimic, because he's a sociopath.
I think he was always planning this, like what he does next to the whole, you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, and he smashes it and does a little laugh. I think he was planning that from the off, but he needed to set it up with a little bit of sadness to be like, this is how you lead up to the punchline of what he obviously thinks is hilarious, but no one else would. And then, although I wonder if that's a deliberate thing when he smashes it, because it's kind of orange insides to the mask. But it makes it look like kind of like an eggshell in a weird way. I was like, is that deliberate, or is it just a weird coincidence?
That's got to be deliberate. Because it's a weird colour to make the inside of that mask. There's no reason it would be.
Yeah, so it looks like eggshell, and then this is the yolk within, I guess. But,
yeah.
Well, and that also felt like a gangster move to me. The way, again, look, he's being really nice. Oh, I'm so sad. And then in the blink of an eye, he just flips it, like, completely the other way. It makes it more intimidating than if he was just aggressive as soon as he walked in the room.
Yeah. Well, he's got to keep her off balance. He is his primary tool is keeping people off balance.
Yeah. And we should also note as well that this, in the original script, was not Alicia's last scene. There was actually, she actually has a bit where she attempts to call Vicky Vale. And Bruce Wayne is there to say, like, he's on his way. Like, she's trying to, to actually, help out. And then I guess for whatever shocking reason, they might have been like, this Jerry Hall ain't working out too much. Maybe we should retool this in some way. And well, we got an off-screen death for a character is like, well, it's sad within the confines of the film. It's just tragic that this happened to her. But it's like, we're not gonna miss her. It's not like, Alfred died or someone. It's just like, well, bye Alicia.
Well, that's harsh, though, because we don't know too much about her. I mean, she likes to shop. That doesn't make her a bad person. That's about all we know about her.
I mean,
Jack.
if we wanted to judge her, it's like she did the fact that she was shacking up with a much, much older, very rich guy gives you the vibe. And I'm having to judge from the outside, so, like maybe I'm being too judgmental. But you would assume gold digger. And then she's also cheating on him with, like, his right-hand man. So already she's cheating on the guy. We've never seen any instance. There was never any indication that Grissom mistreated her or that he, was cheating on her. Grissom seemed fine.
No, Grissom was totally into Sugar Bump.
Yeah, so
he definitely mistreated her, I think. Come on.
I don't know. I think everything we saw of her, though, is just like, they seemed... Their relationship seemed okay. Like it was only her stepping out with Jack that was the issue. No. And but that's like, I never thought we'd have to talk about Grissom and Alicia's relationship. It's like that was like 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's all in the past now anyway, because they're both gone.
Yeah, they get pour out a 40 for the memory of Grissom and Alicia.
I like the way you said that when we don't even really have those here. Like, we don't have a name for them anyway. You call it a big
It's
bottle.
a cultural phenomenon. Really, you don't have like a dub. The thing is, I don't think you can get 40s in America anymore. They stopped making them. You can only get like a 32 ounce. I think that's the largest single malt bottle. You can buy that,
Remember the most getting really outraged when, particularly, when you're an adult and you have to worry about money and stuff. But I always remember in Grosse Pointe Blank, there's a bit where John Cusack goes to visit like the grave of his father, and he has a bottle of Jack Daniels, and he pours that out over his father's grave. And I was like, that's wasting a whole bottle. You know how expensive that stuff is? That's a complete waste of booze.
No, but that's Jack Daniels. Like, maybe it's more there, but over here it's super cheap.
Oh, it's expensive here. Yeah, it's not cheap.
No, Jack Daniels is just like, that's what college kids drink when they can't find anything else.
Oh, here you get the cheap knockoff of Jack Daniels, the fake Jack Daniels. Yeah.
Also, do you not get the Mila Kunis trying to trick you into thinking that Jack Daniels is like the classiest drink in the world over there?
No, she still sells it, but they're trying. But it's still like, it's probably like $20 for a bottle here.
See, because here it's like, what is it now? Like £25 for the bottle.
Yeah, and then
what would that?
So that's almost 35 or 40, like depending on conversion rate. But yeah, that's a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, I could get a good bottle of whiskey here for $40. Like, good.
I don't know. I think we'll uncover this now. That apparently America has been shafting this whole time with the whiskey deal.
Well,
no, you guys just get hit with all the import crap
to be fair,
because you got to bring it over.
We've got Scotch.
Yeah, he's like, you got Scotch, you got Scotland.
To be fair, good Scotch isn't cheap either, though.
I once I was up in Scotland when I went up to Edinburgh like a year or two back, and we went on a whiskey tour, which was like, we were like, oh, this is gonna be like a Willy Wonka kind of like take you through the great whiskey factory, and it wasn't quite like that, but you did get a little free glass. But they were like, you had to choose because they were like, oh, well, these ones from these regions, they have a slight, a slight hint of caramel in them and all these other things. And everyone was trying to pretend like, oh, yes, of course.
They could taste
it.
Yeah,
and it's just like, as soon as you put it in your mouth, it's the harsh taste of whiskey. You're like, no, it just tastes like whiskey, man. Like, I'm sure there are people out there who do have the palate for it. But to me, I couldn't differentiate that between any other.
It comes with time. You have to just keep at it. Keep drinking it.
It's acquired. Yeah. You have to develop your palate.
Yeah. No. Well, if it wasn't so expensive, then maybe I would.
But anyway, with this, Batman.
Yeah.
It's happening. There's one final little tiny thing that happens. Vicky picks up a bowl.
The protective bowl of popcorn.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think it looks like popcorn?
Yeah, it's popcorn. But I don't know what she's assuming it's going to do. Maybe she really loves that bowl and she's very protective, doesn't want him to break that too.
It doesn't look too fancy.
Because I can't imagine her thinking bowl of popcorn is going to save her from this crazy guy.
My only thought was she's going to smash him over the head with it.
Yeah.
Or she's got anxiety problems like me and just has to hold things.
Maybe. But she clutches it to her sugar bump.
Exactly. It's the embrace. She needs it close to her to feel safe.
And what's up with her weird Padawan braid?
Yeah, I had not noticed that until this very shot.
Yeah, she's totally got. Apparently, Vicky Vale is also a Padawan learner.
Well, she has to protect herself somehow. So she's only at the beginning of her training, unfortunately. And that's when
she should have thrown the bowl at him with the force and then fled.
I imagined female Padawans still shaved the head somewhat, like the males do. I thought they wouldn't care, the Jedi Order, about gender and things like that.
Maybe it just depends on her master. Maybe her master is more lenient with that. He doesn't care.
A bit of a Qui-Gon goes against the rules.
Yeah. Qui-Gon's got, maybe her master is Qui-Gon.
Oh. Well, same actor is
I feel
in
like
Batman.
we've just established that Batman is within the world of Star Wars.
Oh, we were, because, Porkins and Lando Calrissian are in the movie already. So we've been theorizing.
And that's
about
just
this.
yours, yeah. We haven't even gotten to like Qui-Gon Jinn later on.
There's my theory, of course, that it is in the Star Wars universe because some of the characters have fled and they've gone to a small planet far away called Earth. And this is the continuing adventures in the background of these characters. Because we had
Porkins and Lando.
Biggs was in the movie.
Oh, he's in here too?
He was at the very beginning, yeah.
Was this filmed in England?
Yes,
it was.
Indeed it was.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. It was like, that's why.
It's the same people who turn up in everything.
You get Dennis Lawson was Wedge. But yeah,
I would be surprised to find out he's in the background somewhere, to be honest.
Somewhere, yeah, just hanging out.
My theory on her holding the popcorn was just simply like, she was like, I'm terrified, but this guy's also kind of entertaining. So like, she's just starting to eat little bits of popcorn while this is happening. She's like, oh, okay.
She's like, I would like a snack. I'm hungry, scared.
That seems like the fact that's open popcorn though. That's open popcorn lying around. It's not on a table like where you can get.
That's the thing. You also have to keep in mind, like, one thing, why is the bowl of popcorn on the mantle? For another thing, there's like nothing else on the mantle but some weird Egyptian obelisks, and then the bowl of popcorn. And also, Bruce just comes over, and so this is how long has this been sitting?
Yeah,
here?
that's what. Will that not like air out? Would that not be like really horrible?
Yeah,
soft popcorn?
that would get really gross and chewy and soft.
I hate that. Can't stand it.
So many things wrong with this Vicky Vale in this apartment.
This goddamn film. We should probably wrap up the minute here.
We're pretty much here.
Well, there is one last thing. Joker turns around. Does he see Bruce? Does he not see Bruce? I mean, you're gonna have to tune in on Wednesday to find out. But we can speculate.
I was gonna do my whole thing about his hair, but I'll leave that till next minute because it's also in there. So.
I'll just point out one last thing as well. I'm finding it very difficult to bring up the original draft now, listeners, because it completely changes around this part. It goes off in completely different direction where I can't even sort of contrast it. So I'll bring it up a lot more sparingly, unfortunately, because none of this is in there. Yeah. You get like the Wayne murder flashback here, which comes up later.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no point talking about that now. So you're going to have to just like it or lump it. Screw you.
I'm like editing some of the episodes, John. You're very harsh on our audience at times, too. So many times you at the end going like, we're on Facebook, Twitter. Just look it up yourselves. It's just like...
He just wants to make sure that they want it.
Yeah, treat them mean, keep them keen. That's what you do with your audience,
You've been watching too much of the Joker. That's your problem. You're just taking his policy. That's the way he would promote himself. Of just like, well, you can find me at joker.com. Just look it up yourself. God damn it! Just storm out of the room.
I learned from the best.
Go make an omelet.
Well, before we do go, though, into the dark, dark night, George, where can our good listeners find you if they don't already know?
You can find us at themogwaiminute.com or just go to Facebook and find our Mogwai Minute Facebook group where we talk about the movie all the time and, well, pizza mostly, but also a lot about the movie too.
There's a heck of a lot of pizza chat, though, so get in on that.
There so is.
Get involved. And listen to the show in general, because it's amazing. It's brilliant. It's one of the best ones out there. So everybody get on that.
As I recall, I'll always remember specifically, the day me and John were recording our second episode of this was... Oh, no, our first episode of this was the day the second episode of Mogwai Minute came out, because in that minute you guys are talking about how Pat Hingle was in talks to play Van Peltzer. And we were talking about Pat Hingle in the opening credits. And we're like, holy crap, it's so coincidental. Like, these guys have just brought that up while we're recording the very same kind of stuff.
It's a great big world out there.
Everything's connected once again. But yes, check that out and check us out. We are all over the internet. Facebook at the BatMinute89 Listeners Society. Twitter at BatMinute89. Do you still say at? I don't know, I do, whatever. I'm old school. And we're on Instagram and Tumblr as well. Just look up BatMinute89. We will pop up first thing. There's no others, no pretenders to the crown. And join us again on Wednesday, because we will be back with Minute 80, if you can believe that. Minute 80 on Wednesday. See you then.
Next time, Penthouse Peacocking, as our peculiar perp performs some ponderous Poe prose, which irksome interloper will irritate the inquisitive evildoer. Find out next time, same Bat Pod.
Different Bat Minute.